You are not bad at sleeping. You are being woken by light, schedules, and hidden alarms. Screens push your brain into daytime at midnight. Calendars yank your wake time by the hour. In a minute, I will show a simple switch that helps you fall asleep faster tonight. Here's the plan. We map the three forces stealing rest: light, time, and triggers. We test your lighting and screens, then dim your evening environment. We set one anchor wake time that stabilizes your body clock. We delete silent alarms, late notifications, deliveries, and auto updates. We add a brief day closing ritual to stop doom scrolling. By the end, you get a clear 3x3 model, a 72-hour reset, and a weekly checklist for one person, a family, and a team. First, we start with light, the master switch for your sleep. We start with the engine, not the dashboard. Your brain runs on a 24-hour rhythm driven by a light-sensitive clock in the hypothalamus. It times the rise of cortisol in the morning, the release of melatonin at night, and the nightly drops in core body temperature that make sleep possible. When this clock's aligned, you get sleepy at the right time, sleep consolidates, and waking feels clean. When it is misaligned, you fight biology every evening and every morning. Morning light is the start button. Bright outdoor light in the first hour after waking tells the clock, day has begun. That pulse sets a timer for evening melatonin and helps your body build a stable rhythm of alertness across the day. 10 to 20 minutes of morning daylight often does more for circadian alignment than any phone's night mode, because intensity and spectrum matter more than small color shifts on a screen. If the weather is overcast, stay a bit longer outside or near a large window. The sky is still far brighter than indoor lighting. Evening light is a break failure. High intensity, short wavelength light late at night suppresses melatonin and pushes sleep onset later. The effect adds up. A bright kitchen, a TV across the room, a phone inches from your eyes. Brightness close to the retina counts more than color temperature alone. Dimming the entire environment 2 hours before bed and keeping screens further from your face removes a signal that it is still day. The brain needs darkness to start the nightly cascade. Chronotypes explain why one schedule does not fit all. Some people's clocks run slightly fast and prefer early mornings. Others run slightly slow and prefer late nights. A universal 7 a.m. start time flattens these differences, but the biology remains. Force a night-leaning person to wake early without morning light and consistent timing, and you create debt and daytime sleepiness, not discipline. Working with your baseline preference, then nudging it with light and timing is more effective than fighting it. Temperature is a silent partner in the system. Your core cools in the evening and reaches a low point late at night, then rises before dawn. That drop helps you fall and stay asleep. If you exercise intensely late, take a very hot shower just before bed, or keep the room too warm, you resist that cooling. A cooler bedroom, breathable bedding, and finishing vigorous workouts earlier give the body room to descend. Even a brief warm shower an hour before bed can help if it is followed by cooling. Food and movement set clocks beyond the brain. The liver and muscles carry their own daily rhythms that respond to when you eat and when you move. Late, heavy meals push metabolic timing into the night and fragment sleep. Large, late-night snacks tell the body day continues. Place most calories earlier, keep late meals lighter, and finish them well before bedtime to bring the peripheral clocks back in step with the central one. Weekend catch-up sleep is a tempting trap. Sleeping in by 2 or 3 hours is like flying a couple of time zones every Friday night and flying back on Monday. You feel better on Sunday morning, then struggle to fall asleep Sunday night and wake groggy on Monday. A consistent anchor, wake time 7 days a week stabilizes the system. If you need extra rest, go to bed earlier, nap briefly in the early afternoon, or extend sleep in smaller, more regular increments. Here is a short story you may recognize. On Monday, you take a 6:30 a.m. call with a client in another time zone. You still scroll in bed on Sunday night, and you still eat late after a long day. You fall asleep an hour later than planned. Wake too early for the call and push through on adrenaline. The next night you are overtired but wired, so you stay up to unwind. By Thursday, your bedtime has drifted, your morning light exposure has vanished, and your weekend sleep-in is locked in. One early call shifted your entire week. The takeaway is simple. Light sets the clock, timing writes the schedule. Behavior either amplifies or cancels the signals. When you control morning light, reduce evening brightness, respect temperature and meal timing, and keep a steady wake anchor, the biology starts working for you instead of against you. Until you manage light and time, you do not manage sleep. Now that the mechanics are clear, let's look at the light we actually live in during 2025. Bright screens inches from our eyes, LEDs in every room, and cities that never dim. Warm lamps and night mode feel comforting, yet they often fail because the eye cares more about intensity at the retina and timing than about color alone. In 2025, we sit with HDR screens inches from our face while the room around us glows with efficient LEDs that never really dim. Your brain reads that as late afternoon, not night. The result is a body that never gets a clear sunset. Screen distance is the first culprit. A phone or tablet at arm's length delivers far more light to the eye than a floor lamp across the room. HDR content spikes brightness in highlights and holds it there, especially on glossy panels that throw light straight back to you. Auto brightness tries to help, but indoors it often keeps screens brighter than you need because contrasty apps and white backgrounds demand it. A small rectangle very close beats a large lamp far away. LED lighting is the second culprit. Modern bulbs and strips are efficient and cool to the touch, so we leave more of them on and for longer. Many have spectra that still stimulate the circadian system even when they look warm to you. Some cheap drivers add invisible flicker that the brain notices as effort, not as light, and that effort arrives at the worst time of day. Street LEDs make cities safer and clearer, but they reflect from windows and walls into bedrooms, turning midnight into dusk. Night mode is helpful, but limited. Shifting color temperature toward amber reduces one part of the signal, yet the eye still sees an intense source close to the face. When the rest of the room stays bright, the overall message remains day. Warm LED strips can be a trap too. They feel cozy, so you forget to reduce brightness. The clock hears golden hour, not lights out. Color without real dimming builds false confidence. Now look at the room itself. Light leaks through tiny places. A hallway, downlight that spills under the door, the neon dot on a charger, the router's blinking status LED, the translucent window shade that looks opaque by day but glows at night. A bedroom with good blinds can still be spoiled by a bright corridor or a mirrored wardrobe that bounces glow back at you. Every stray photon that reaches the eye after dusk pushes the clock later by a little. Here's a simple switch you can use tonight. 2 hours before bed, dim the whole home toward quiet restaurant. Bring ceiling lights down first, then table lamps, then screens. Choose fewer, lower, closer lights rather than many bright sources overhead. If you can read a paperback without squinting, but the room feels soft and shadowed, you are in range. Move the phone farther away, raise text size, and prefer audio or paper for the last stretch. Picture a quick before and after to make this concrete. Before, overhead, LEDs at full, kitchen at high brightness, living room strips glowing, TV vivid mode, phone at medium high because the room is bright, hallway acting like a runway, and a charger LED pointing at your pillow. After, overheads off, a couple of lamps at a low setting, warm but truly dim. TV brightness reduced and further away. Phone brightness pulled down and held, hallway lights off or on motion delay. Tape over status LEDs, the bedroom a touch darker than the living room. Your eyes stop saying stay awake. Windows need their own plan. Blackout curtains help only if they seal. Gaps at the top, sides, or center leak more than you think. A simple magnetic or Velcro overlap closes the seam. A heavier liner or a secondary roller shade kills the glow that sneaks through fabric. Add a door sweep to block the light shelf under the door. Place night lights low and indirect outside the bedroom so late trips do not reset your clock. Screens deserve a distance rule. The closer the source, the louder the signal. Put phones on a charging stand across the room, use casting to a farther screen when possible, and switch late sessions to e-ink, audio, or printed notes. If you must use a device in bed, reduce brightness, increase text size, invert backgrounds, and set a hard cutoff alarm that stops you, not just warns you. LED choice matters too. In living areas, pick fixtures that dim smoothly and deeply without flicker. Use lampshades or indirect bounce rather than bare diodes. In the last hour before sleep, keep light sources below eye level so your retina sees sunset geometry, not noon sky. In the morning, do the opposite. Raise blinds, let skylight hit your eyes early, and make the kitchen bright so the day starts clean. None of this requires a full renovation. A few small changes cascade. Tape over tiny indicators, install a cheap dimmer on the most used circuits. Replace one bright bulb in the evening zone with a lower lumen alternative. Put motion on corridor lights with a long delay, or leave a single, very low night light to avoid blasts. The bedroom becomes darker than the hallway, and the hallway darker than the living room, so the house itself guides you down. Here is the forward promise. In 2 chapters, we will assemble a simple, light diet that tells you what to do in the morning, midday, and evening. You will have a single page you can follow without thinking, and it will fit both solo living and a family home. You will also see how it ties to caffeine, meals, and training so the signals stop fighting each other. The pattern is now clear. Our homes and cities hold us in a permanent bright evening. That is why warm lamps and night mode often disappoint. The total signal stays too strong, too late, and too close. Dim the environment, increase distance, seal leaks, and sunrise finally looks like sunrise to your brain. But even perfect light cannot save a schedule that tears your sleep apart. Next, we face the calendar. Your sleep is not only biological, it is scheduled. Company calendars, school bells, and global time zones pull you off your natural rhythm. You may fix your light, but a single recurring meeting at the wrong hour can undo a week of progress. The mismatch has a name: social jet lag. Social jet lag is the gap between when you must wake and when your body wants to. If your natural sleep window is 12:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., but work forces 6:30 a.m. alarms, you live 2 time zones east of your biology. You can push through for days, yet debt accumulates and spills into mood, focus, and metabolism. The brain reads every early alarm as a small flight you did not choose. Hybrid and remote work made the problem wider, not smaller. Morning stand-ups drift earlier so teams clear the day. Late calls drift later to catch partners west of you. A week can stretch across 3 continents without any airplane. Tuesday begins with a 7 a.m. sprint review. Thursday ends with a 9 p.m. vendor call. You never get a steady anchor for sleep pressure to build and release. Commutes add another layer. When bus times shift or traffic forecasts change, wake times move just in case. You set alarms earlier than required to buffer delays. If a child's drop-off varies by day, the window moves again. Even when the commute disappears, phantom buffers remain. You still wake earlier than needed because your calendar is unpredictable. Weekends become mini flights. You sleep in by 2 or 3 hours to repay the week. Saturday feels better by noon. Sunday night, you cannot fall asleep on schedule, so Monday starts in a fog. The cycle repeats. Your body clock never sees 7 consistent wake times in a row, so it cannot stabilize melatonin timing or deepen early night sleep. The fix is simple, but not easy. Reduce the swing. A single anchor wake time acts like gravity. Pick a time you can hold 7 days a week, even if it is 30 to 60 minutes later than your current target. Protect it as you would an important meeting. Plan backward from that anchor for when to dim lights, finish meals, and stop caffeine. A stable anchor lets morning light hit at the same hour and sets the evening timer reliably. Here is a short story you may recognize. Your team shifts its calendar to match New York for a product launch. Stand-up moves to 8 a.m. Your time and stakeholder reviews land at 7 p.m. You keep your usual evening routine, answer a few late messages, and fall asleep after midnight. By midweek, you wake before your body is ready, dose with coffee, and feel wired at bedtime. By Friday, you catch up by sleeping past 9, then stare at the ceiling Sunday night. 1 calendar week moved your internal clock and broke your sleep. The fix for hybrid work starts with boundaries that become culture. Set quiet hours where meetings are not scheduled, especially the last 2 evening hours. Cluster cross-time zone calls into predictable blocks 2 or 3 days a week, not scattered nightly. Rotate who absorbs the early or late slot so one group is not permanently sacrificed. Use asynchronous updates where possible to avoid dragging everyone into live calls. For individuals, compress morning obligations into a consistent ramp instead of random spikes. Keep a protected first 30-60 minutes after waking for light movement and simple prep. Do not let recurring meetings occupy that ramp. In the evening, set a latest acceptable meeting end time that still leaves 2 hours for dimming and winding down. Decline or propose alternatives when invites cross that line. A single polite template reply can save dozens of nights. Travel needs a plan too. If you fly across time zones, shift your anchor wake time by 30 to 60 minutes per day ahead of the trip. On arrival, chase morning light, limit late light, and keep meals aligned with the new zone. On short trips of 2 to 3 days, consider holding a partial shift rather than chasing full adaptation. The goal is to avoid ping-ponging your clock. Here is a forward promise. In an upcoming chapter, you will get simple team rules that routinely return an hour of sleep per person per day. They rely on 3 policies: meeting windows, quiet hours, and no surprise evenings. When adopted, people arrive sharper to the calls that remain and the work improves. The principle is clear. Sleep is held in place by time anchors, not iron will. A steady wake time, predictable meeting windows, and modest weekend swings beat heroic self-discipline. When the calendar cooperates, your biology does the rest. When it fights you, every other tactic feels weak. We have handled clocks on paper, but alarms do not only live in apps and calendars. Next, we face the hidden triggers that poke you awake even when the schedule looks clean. Not all wake-ups are obvious. Many are small spikes that you barely notice. A flash across the room, a buzz in the mattress, a click from a machine in the kitchen. Each one is a tiny surge of stress chemistry that lifts you toward the surface of sleep. You turn over, you sigh, you forget it by morning. But the cycle is broken. The night feels long and thin because your brain never stays deep for long enough. Notifications are the first hidden alarm. Your brain reacts to visual change even without sound. A lock screen lights for a second and that is enough. Badges and banners promise unfinished tasks, so the mind lifts into monitoring mode. If the device is on the nightstand, the signal is loud. Face down is not protection if the screen still wakes or the watch taps your wrist. One night, notification can shatter a REM segment that takes 20 to 40 minutes to rebuild. The cost is invisible except for how you feel at 7 a.m. Deliveries create another trap. Estimated arrival 9 Sekuik p.m., 11 Tiyitsi p.m. Seems harmless until the bell rings at 10:15 p.m. Your body surges, your heart races, and the next 90 minutes are light and choppy. If a building intercom blasts your bedroom, the effect is stronger. You can prevent most of this by setting delivery windows that end before 9, adding do not ring, call daytime only, to instructions, or routing parcels to a box or locker. Small notes on the door reduce random knocks more than you expect. Smart homes add digital noise you never planned. Routers reboot at 2 a.m. and flash status LEDs. Consoles and TVs pull updates with beeps and pop-ups. Cloud backups spin up drives. Security cameras ping your phone for motion when a curtain moves. Robot vacuums start at dawn because that was the default. All of these are easy to move. Schedule updates at midday, mute device LEDs with tape, disable notify on every event, and set camera alerts to daytime zones. Household habits matter too. Dishwashers and washing machines are quieter than before, but still kick into loud cycles that pierce the night. A spin at 11:30 p.m. can pop you to the surface even through a closed door. If energy pricing pushes you to run them late, use true low noise modes, rubber pads, and doors closed on that part of the house, or shift runs to early evening. Fridges and boilers create short clanks and hums. A steady low fan or white noise can mask peaks better than silence because silence makes spikes stand out. Focus modes are your first line of defense. Put phones and watches on a scheduled quiet window. Every night, without fail, let only a tiny whitelist through. A child's school, an elderly parent, emergency services. Block lock screen wake and banner previews at night so the screen stays dark even if something arrives. Batch non-urgent notifications into a morning summary. Move messaging apps out of a loud lease at night and bring them back after breakfast. The goal is not silence forever. It is predictable quiet during sleep. Here's a short story you may recognize. You set do not disturb, but leave deliver quietly off. At 1:18 a.m., a marketing message arrives. The screen blooms, your watch taps, you turn over. 5 minutes later, your building's elevator dings twice as someone's late parcel arrives. At 2:05 a.m., a game console decides to update and wakes the TV input with a chime. By morning, you slept 8 hours, yet feel like you slept 5. Nothing was dramatic, everything was disruptive. The home itself can help you sleep if you teach it. Put noisy updates on a daytime timer. Move blinking routers out of sight or into a closet. Use motion lights with long fades instead of harsh on-off pops. Replace the doorbell chime with a daytime-only smart alert, and disable night knocks entirely if your building allows it. Place chargers and devices outside the bedroom and give the bedroom a strict no notification rule. For families, standardize the night. Agree on a house quiet period and stick to it 7 days a week. Put devices on a docking station in the living room 1 hour before bed. Tell friends and relatives your night window and set messaging apps to auto-reply during it. Set laundry and dish cycles to finish before dimming begins. Explain to kids that quiet lights and quiet sounds help everyone sleep. Then let the house show the rule by being darker and softer. For teams and businesses, reduce after-hours pokes. Use delayed send by default on messages written at night. Make non-critical alerts daily or weekly summaries instead of instant pings. Set server and software maintenance windows in the afternoon. If you run a delivery service, offer earlier slots by default and make late windows opt-in with clear warnings. Every less intrusive system returns sharper people the next day. Here's a forward promise. In the payoff, you will get a Quiet Night 2.0 checklist for individuals, families, and teams. It turns these ideas into one page you can apply in an hour. Once you run it, the number of night pokes drops fast, and your mornings start clearer. Remove the alarms and the night connects. Longer, uninterrupted stretches allow full cycles to stack. Deep sleep deepens, REM returns on schedule, and you wake with energy rather than argument. Silence is not the goal, smoothness is. When you control the triggers, your brain stops patrolling the house and starts resting. There are more alarms ahead, and some live inside the body and routine. Next, we address caffeine, meals, exercise, noise, and temperature, the built-in signals that can jolt you awake even when every device is quiet. Not every wake-up comes from a phone or a doorbell. Many are brewed in the kitchen, planned at the gym, or hiding in the thermostat. Small evening choices create night alerts that feel like anxiety but are simply biology pushed the wrong way. To sleep well, you need to lower stimulation and let the body cool. Caffeine is the first hidden driver. Its half-life is about 5 to 7 hours. A single afternoon cup can leave a meaningful dose in your system at midnight. The effect is not only alertness, caffeine also blunts deep sleep pressure so you fall asleep later and sleep lighter. The just a sip after 4:00 p.m. is often enough to shift your night. Decaf, earlier timing, or smaller doses help, but timing beats quantity. Alcohol looks like a sedative, but it is a sleep splitter. It shortens the time to fall asleep while fragmenting the second half of the night. Heavy, late dinners push digestion deep into the night and raise body temperature. The classic 3-4 a.m. wake-up lives here. Alcohol wears off, blood sugar swings, the stomach still works, and the brain pops to the surface. Light dinners and earlier last bites shrink that window. Late, intense exercise heats you up and keeps you there. Core temperature climbs, adrenaline and heart rate stay elevated, and the brain reads daytime. You feel tired but wired. Cooling takes longer than you think. If evenings are your only training time, finish earlier, lower intensity in the last block, and add a cool down that actually cools. Gentle movement late is fine. Sprints at 10 p.m. are not. Noise shapes the night in spikes, not averages. City hum is bearable until a garbage truck breaks, a neighbor drops something, or a motorcycle accelerates. The brain reacts to change. A steady, low fan or white noise masks peaks better than silence. Seal rattling windows, use soft door closers, and move noisy appliances away from bedrooms. Quiet is not zero sound. Quiet as sound without surprises. Temperature is the final lever. Your body needs to drop heat to fall asleep and to stay asleep. A warm room or heavy bedding blocks that descend. Hot showers right before bed can delay sleep unless followed by real cooling. Aim for a cooler bedroom, breathable layers, and a bed that lets heat escape. Keep light sources below eye level and heat sources below blanket level. Let the room do half the work. Here's a short story you may recognize. You hit the gym at 10 p.m. for a hard session. You feel great, shower hot, and arrive home glowing. The apartment is still bright, the kitchen still warm, and your heart rate still high. You get into bed at midnight, eyes wide open. At 3:30 a.m., you wake, thirsty and hot, and doze in fragments until the alarm. Nothing mystical happened. Heat and stimulants did. There is a simple rule for evenings: fewer peaks, more slopes. No late caffeine, no late heavy meals, no high intensity spikes. Keep sound and light smooth and low. If you need a nightcap, make it a herbal tea and a book under a dim lamp. If you need movement, do stretching or a slow walk. If you need comfort, think cooling, not heating. You will get precise windows soon. We will show when caffeine helps and when it hurts, when to place the last meal, and how late is too late for training. The goal is not perfection, it is to move the big rocks so the night can run without alarms. The takeaway is simple: the body must have time to cool and time to calm. Remove stimulants, avoid late heat, flatten noise spikes, and the second half of the night repairs itself. Deep sleep thickens, and early morning wakes feel steady instead of sharp. Even with triggers tamed, many people still lose an hour to the feed. The mind wants a final taste of control and falls into endless scroll. Next, we tackle the behavior loops that steal the last quiet hour and teach a ritual that closes the day instead of reopening it. The last quiet hour is a tug of war. You intend to wind down, but the phone offers easy wins. One more clip, one more message, one more refresh. Algorithms run on variable rewards, the same loop that keeps slot machines spinning. Most swipes are nothing. Some are good, a rare few are perfect. That maybe keeps you there. Your brain leans forward, not toward sleep, but toward the next surprise. Autoplay removes friction. A new video starts before you decide. Infinite scroll removes stopping points. There is no last page, only a bottom that never arrives. 5 more minutes becomes 40 because there is no natural pause to ask, am I done? The brighter the content and the closer the screen, the more your eyes tell your clock it is still day. FOMO amplifies the pull. Late chats feel urgent because friends are online now. Group threads heat up at night when people finally have time to talk. Events get posted, jokes fly, and you want to be part of it. The mind frames rest as missing out. It trades early morning clarity for midnight belonging and calls it a fair deal. Revenge bedtime procrastination has a harsh name, but a human motive: control. If the day felt scheduled by others, the last hour feels like the only hour that is truly yours. You defend it, even if the activity is not meaningful. You scroll not for joy, but to delay surrender. Here's the unexpected insight: we steal sleep to feel in charge. The price is paid tomorrow by the same person who tried to reclaim the night. The exit is a ritual, not willpower. Give yourself a short closing of the day that marks the end of obligation and the start of rest. Write down 3 lines: what you did, what you will do tomorrow, and one worry you defer to morning. Dim the room. Put the phone on a stand outside the bedroom or across the room. Switch to low friction media that ends on its own. Paper pages, a short podcast with a sleep timer, gentle stretches. If you need a screen, set a hard cutoff that locks the app, not just warns you. Make the trigger visible. Place a small tray for the device by the door. Put the book or journal on the pillow before dinner so it is waiting for you. Set a lamp that is easy to turn down and stays dim. When the environment guides you, you do not negotiate with yourself every night. You follow the path you built. Here is a brief story you may recognize. You plan to sleep at 11:30 p.m. At 10:45 p.m., you sit for a few minutes and open a feed. A perfect clip hooks you. Autoplay runs 5 more. A friend messages, you reply, then bounce to a second app. At 11:40 p.m., you think, I deserve 10 more minutes. At 12:25 a.m., you are wide awake, Room bright, heart alert, you switch off and lie there, frustrated, now needing more time to come down than you had left. You will get simple guardrails next. In the coming chapter, we will build a light diet for morning, midday, and evening, and set clear windows for caffeine, meals, and training so the signals stop fighting each other. You will have a personal protocol you can run for 3 days and feel the change. The takeaway is clear. You exit the loop with a closing ritual and a physical barrier between you and endless content. When the day ends on paper and the phone lives out of reach, your brain stops hunting and starts landing. The house grows dim, the clock hears night, and sleep pressure finally wins. Now it is time to assemble the working protocol. We will turn ideas into a simple sequence you can follow without thinking, and we will make it fit real life. This is the smallest protocol that moves sleep within 72 hours. It treats light as nutrition, time as structure, and triggers as noise. Follow the steps, keep them simple, and let your biology do the rest. Morning first. Within the first hour after waking, get 10 to 20 minutes of outdoor daylight or stand by a large window. Do it even if the sky is overcast. The sky is brighter than any room. Drink water, move briefly, then have coffee. Touch the phone after coffee, not before. Keep alarms consistent and avoid morning meetings in the first 30-60 minutes so the day can start clean. Daytime is for brightness and movement. Work in the brightest part of your space, raise blinds, and take 1 or 2 short light breaks outside. Change location after lunch to avoid the mid-afternoon slump. A different desk, a standing period, a short walk. Keep naps short and early if you need them, about 15 to 25 minutes and never late in the day. Let the day feel like day. Evening is a house-wide dim. 2 hours before bed, bring the entire home down to a quiet restaurant level. Turn off overheads, use a few low lamps, and keep screens further from the face. In the bedroom, seal light leaks and use blackout that actually closes. Put devices on a dock outside the room or across it. Switch to paper, audio, or an e-ink reader with low brightness. End the day with a short closing ritual. 3 lines on what you did, what you will do tomorrow, and 1 worry you park for morning. Here are the windows that stop signals from fighting each other. Caffeine, last cup 8 to 10 hours before your target bedtime. Food, finish the main meal 3 to 4 hours before sleep. If you need a snack, keep it light and earlier. Training, end intense sessions at least 3 hours before bed. Light stretching or a slow walk is fine later. Hot showers help only if they are done early enough to allow cooling afterward. These ranges close the loop promised earlier. 1 anchor wake time holds the system together. Choose a time you can keep 7 days a week, including weekends. Protect it. Plan backward from that anchor for when to dim lights, when to finish meals, and when to stop screens. If you need more sleep, move bedtime earlier in small steps rather than moving wake time. Consistency beats heroics. Here is a 72-hour reset. Day 1. Set the anchor wake time and hit morning light. Dim the house 2 hours before bed. Stop caffeine early. Day 2. Keep the same wake. Place meals in earlier windows. End training on time. Run the closing ritual. Keep devices out of the bedroom. Day 3. Repeat everything. Adjust room temperature and bedding for cooling. Audit light leaks and tape over status LEDs. By the 4th morning, you should feel earlier sleepiness at night and steadier mornings. Imagine a plate of light to guide you. Breakfast light is strong and outside. Lunch light is bright and abundant but not in your eyes. Dinner light is soft, low, and far from the face. When you eat light this way, your clock reads the day correctly without arguments. Here's a forward promise. In the payoff, you will get a clear 383 matrix and 1-page checklist for a person, a family, and a team. You will be able to print them and apply them in an hour. A few simple rules align the clock in 2 to 3 days. Morning daylight, day brightness, evening dimming. Clean windows for caffeine, meals, and training. 1 wake anchor every day. Now, we connect the individual protocol to the home and the workplace so the environment and the calendar stop breaking the night. Order beats effort. When a household and a team agree on a few rules, chaos drops and sleep becomes predictable. You do not need perfect discipline. You need fewer surprises. Architecture is what you decide once so you do not argue nightly. Start with the home. Set quiet windows for the door. No doorbell after 9 p.m. No intercom pings at night. Deliveries limited to daytime slots. Put the rule on paper. Instructions to couriers in the app. A small do not ring sleeping household. Sticker, parcel box, or locker as default. Use night timers for lights and noisy appliances so the house stays dim and calm by itself. Give every room a job. The bedroom is for sleep and recovery, not for negotiation. Make the hallway darker than the living room and the bedroom darker than the hallway so light guides you down. Put motion lights on, low, long fades. Move routers and blinking devices out of sight and schedule updates for midday. Quiet doors and soft closers remove the midnight bang that wakes everyone. Families need shared anchors. Pick one wake time for school and work days and stick to it even on weekends within a small range. Run a common evening dimming ritual. Overheads off, lamps low, screens away from faces. Park devices in a shared docking spot 1 hour before bed. A child who sees parents' dock phones learns the rule without lectures. Here is the unexpected finding from many homes. One rule, no doorbell after 9 p.m. raises sleep satisfaction for the whole family. The reason is simple. Fewer late spikes mean fewer fragmented cycles. Add a note for neighbors and friends about your quiet hours. Most people will respect them if they know them. Work policies turn good nights into a norm. Set quiet hours in Slack and email so evening pings do not leak through. Encourage delayed send by default for messages written at night. Create time zone calling windows and keep them tight. Cluster cross-zone calls on set days and rotate the burden so one region is not always paying the sleep tax. Use async updates for status and reviews where live calls add little. Protect the morning ramp. Block the first 30-60 minutes after your anchor wake time on the calendar for light, movement, and simple setup. Do not schedule recurring meetings there. A calm start prevents the cortisol spike that haunts the rest of the day. Teams that respect this buffer show up sharper to the meetings that remain. Travel and shifts need soft adaptation. For trips, move your anchor by 30 to 60 minutes per day before departure. Chase morning light on arrival and keep evening light low. For short trips, hold a partial shift rather than chasing full alignment. For rotating shifts, plan a stepwise rotation, use strategic naps on turnover days, and protect a fixed anchor on off days to keep the system from spinning. Here is a brief story from a product team. They adopted silence 10 p.m., 7 a.m. across chat tools and email, plus a rule that all planning calls end by 7:30 p.m. Within 2 weeks, lateness dropped and morning meetings ran faster. No one slept more out of willpower. They slept more because the workplace stopped waking them. Make these rules visible. Share a one-page house policy on quiet hours and deliveries. Publish team quiet hours and call windows in every onboarding doc. Put calendar templates and device profiles in a shared folder so new members inherit the rhythm. When the structure is public, people default to it. The lesson stands. Sleep is protected by environmental rules, not heroic self-control. When your home and your calendar remove surprises, the biology you built in earlier chapters can hold. Now, we put everything into one frame, a simple matrix and checklist you can apply today. Here's the core insight. Sleep is not a talent, it is a system. 3 axes control it: light, time, and triggers. When you steer all 3, your clock aligns, deep sleep returns, and mornings feel clean. The model is simple. For light, get morning daylight, keep daytime bright, and dim the evening with real blackout in the bedroom. For time, hold a single anchor wake, place windows for caffeine, meals, and training, and end each day with a brief closing ritual. For triggers, schedule notifications with focus modes, push deliveries earlier and put appliances on timers, and smooth noise and temperature so there are no spikes at night. Run the 72-hour reset and prove it to yourself. Day 1, fix the anchor wake, get morning light, and dim the house 2 hours before bed. Day 2, keep the same wake, move caffeine, meals, and training into clean windows, and write the 3-line closing ritual before lights out. Day 3, add family or team quiet hours, seal light leaks with blackout, and tape over status LEDs. By the fourth morning, you should feel earlier sleepiness at night and steadier wakefulness at dawn. This closes every promise. You now have a light diet for morning, midday, and evening. You have action windows that stop signals from fighting. You have team rules that cut after hours noise and protect the morning ramp. And you have Quiet Night 2.0. Devices on focus, deliveries before 9 p.m., updates in the afternoon, and a bedroom that stays dark and cool. Put the model on one page. Light, time, triggers across the top. 3 actions down each column. Check the boxes nightly for a week. The system does the work. You just set the dials and let the biology land. We are not bad at sleeping. We are desynced by light, schedules, and hidden alarms. When you take back those 3 axes, sleep returns. Evenings land on time. Mornings feel steady and clear. Here is your immediate plan. Tomorrow morning, get outside light for 10 to 20 minutes within the first hour after waking. Keep daytime bright. 2 hours before bed, dim the whole home to quiet restaurant level and keep screens farther from your face. Hold one anchor, wake time every day, including weekends. Place clean windows for caffeine, meals, and training. Put phones and watches on focus, move deliveries to daytime, tape over blinking LEDs, and keep the bedroom dark and cool. Run the 72-hour reset. Day 1. Anchor wake, morning daylight, full house dim in the evening. Day 2. Same wake, last coffee. 8-10 hours before bedtime. Last meal, 3-4 hours before sleep. Last intense training at least 3 hours before sleep. A short closing ritual before lights out. Day 3. Add family or team quiet hours. End deliveries by 9 p.m. Blackout that actually seals. By the 4th morning, you should feel earlier sleepiness and a smoother wake. Keep the system simple. Light sets the clock. Time writes the schedule. Triggers either smooth the night or poke it full of holes. If you do only 3 things, do these. Get morning daylight, protect one wake time, and dim the evening house. Let those habits do the heavy lifting. Save this episode as a checklist and share it with anyone who complains about insomnia. Tell me in the comments which trigger trips you up most. Screens too close, late calls, caffeine drift, heavy dinners, hot rooms, or surprise noises. If you want it, I will make a separate episode with a visual 3x3 matrix and ready profiles for a solo night owl, a family with kids, and a team spread across 3 time zones. If this was useful, keep it handy, run the 3-day reset next week, and report back with what changed. Your sleep is a system you can steer. Set the dials tonight and let the biology land.